live at Pac Bell Park in San Francisco. Happy to have you with us, everybody. I'm Rory Markus, along with Terry Smith. The Angels and the Giants are ready to go as David Eckstein steps into the box to start the ball game for the Angels. Quickly, their lineup: Eckstein, Erstad, and Salmon. Garrett Anderson, Troy Gloss, and Scott Spezio. Then Benji Gill, Benji Molina, and John Lackey. And we're set to go as Kirk Reeder, the left-hander, goes into his windup. The first pitch to Eckstein is taken for a strike. We are underway at Pac Bell Park. No balls, one strike to Eckstein. Reeder into his windup. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's hit foul. It is 5:40 p.m., 58 degrees. Brought to you by Hotwire. Looking to get more for your travel dollar? Log on to Hotwire for deep discounts on flights, hotel rooms, and car rentals. Hotwire partners with quality travel companies to bring you amazing deals you can't find anywhere else. Eckstein fouls one off. Log on to Hotwire today to see how much you can save on your next trip. David Eckstein in the World Series is 6 for 15. He has a hit in 11 of the 12 postseason games for the Angels, and he has a hit in 9 straight. Kirk Reeder into his windup. The left-hander's 0-2 pitch. Eckstein fouls another one back. Kirk Reeder in the regular season, 14-8, a 3.23 earned run average. He had 33 starts, no complete games. He did give them 203 and 2/3 innings. And a hit per inning, 204 hits. Eckstein takes one inside. It almost hit him. In fact, he thinks it did hit him, but the home plate umpire, Mike Winters, says no. Eckstein took a couple of steps toward first. He thought it grazed his shirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes to David Eckstein. And it may have grazed his shirt. Watching a slow motion replay, there's a ground ball to shortstop. Aurelia throws Eckstein out, and there's 1 out in the first inning. The Angels took the crowd out of the game so effectively yesterday. Tonight they seem louder, but it's just that the game is still early, I'm sure. If the Angels can get the Giants down, they might be able to do it again. So with 1 out in the first inning, here is Darren Erstad. Last night, the Angels went down 1-2-3 in the first inning to Livan Hernandez, but wound up winning it 10-4. Erstad is 6 for 16 in the World Series. That's .375. The Angels have 32 hits in the last 2 games. Erstad takes one a little bit outside for ball 1. Kirk Reeder, 31 years old, born in Centralia, Illinois. He lives in a little town called Nashville, Illinois. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's a fastball inside. 2 balls and no strikes. They acquired him from the Montreal Expos a few years ago. His best season, a 16-9 campaign with the Giants in 1998. 2 balls, no strikes to Erstad. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Darren is taking, and that's in there for a strike. The Giants defensively, Snow at first, Kent at second, Aurelia the shortstop, Bell at third. Outfield left to right, Bonds, Lofton, and Sanders. And Benito Santiago doing the catching. 2 balls and 1 strike to Darren Erstad. The pitch by Reeder, breaking ball, grounded to second. Kent has it on the second hop, and he'll get him. 2 up, 2 down for the Angels in the first. And now Tim Salmon stepping in there, hitting .417 in this World Series with a couple of home runs and 5 runs batted in.
Reeder has gotten a couple of ground outs here to start off this game. That's a good sign for him. He is a ground ball pitcher. When he's effective, he'll get a lot of hitters to bounce that sinking fastball into the ground.
Salmon is 5 for 12 in the World Series, and he grounds one toward third. Fielded behind the bag by Bell. Long throw. Scoop by Snow. He didn't get it. Salmon is safe. We'll see how they score that one. And the play was right behind the bag at third base. Bell's throw was in the dirt. And as Snow tried to scoop it out, it kind of snow-coned out of his glove. And that's going to be an error on the third baseman, David Bell. First base runner of the game. Salmon is aboard. And Garrett Anderson at the plate. The last thing Dusty Baker wants the Giants to do is to give the Angels an extra out the way they've been hitting. Garrett Anderson, 4 for 15 in this World Series. 3 runs batted in. He takes a curveball outside. Ball 1.
Last night's game when the Angels scored 10 runs, Giant pitchers walked 8 batters. And the Giants also committed a couple of errors. And they also hit a halo batter, so they put on a lot of Angels batters without getting hits, and they paid dearly for it.
1 ball, no strikes to Garrett Anderson. Salmon at first, 2 outs in the first. Reeder delivers. Garrett takes a fastball just off the plate. 2 balls and no strikes. Mike Winters is the home plate umpire. Mike Riley at first. Tim McClellan at second. Jerry Crawford at third. Angel Hernandez down the left field line. Tim Cheetah down the right field line. And the count 2-0 to Garrett. The pitch, that's outside, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Troy Gloss waiting on deck for Anaheim. The Angels leading the series 2-1. They've assured themselves of no worse than going home for another game if they don't win the next 2 here. There's a strike into Anderson, and it's 3-1. You might hear thundersticks in the background, which you identify with Anaheim, but Major League Baseball handed them out tonight as part of their Memorable Moments program. 3-1 to Garrett Anderson. The pitch is grounded back up the middle. That's into center field. Salmon coming around second. He'll go on to third base. Lofton gets the ball in. Garrett Anderson has a 2-out single, and the Angels have runners on the corners here in the first inning with 2 outs. The error opening the door, and now we'll see if Troy Gloss can kick it in here in the first inning.
Gloss has had a good World Series, an excellent postseason as well. Here in the World Series, 6 for 13, couple of home runs, 3 runs batted in. Hit means a run here in the first inning.
Gloss has been swinging a hot bat. He is 6 for 13. That's .462. 2 on, 2 outs. Snow holding Garrett Anderson on at first base. Gloss doesn't go to the right side much. Reeder, the left-hander, delivers. Gloss fouls it off to the right side, 0-1. The Angels trying to get on the board first here in the first inning. They have runners at first and third, 2 outs, an error and a single here in the inning. And Kirk Reeder staring in at Benito Santiago. Here's the stretch. And the 0-1, ground ball right to Kent. The second baseman flips to Aurelia, and they retire the side. The Angels are turned aside in the first. No runs, a hit, 1 error and 2 left. After half an inning, the Angels nothing. The Giants coming up.
The lineup for the Giants, Kenny Lofton will lead it off in center. Rich Aurelia bats second at short. Jeff Kent at second base hits third. Barry Bonds in left bats fourth. Benito Santiago, the catcher, hits fifth. JT Snow at first base bats sixth. Reggie Sanders in right hits seventh. David Bell at third bats eighth. And the pitcher, Kirk Reeder, bats ninth.
And the first pitch to Lofton is taken down low from John Lackey. 1 ball and no strikes. Lofton is just 1 for 12. The Giants obviously need him to get going. When he's on base, things happen. He walked in the first inning last night and wound up scoring a run. And now he's 2-0 as Lackey misses low once again. 2 balls, no strikes. John Lackey, born October 23rd, 1978. So he's 24 tonight. Right-hander all the way, 205 pounds and 6 feet 6 inches tall. Lackey's 2-0 pitch on the way. That's a strike to Lofton, 2-1. John was 9-4 with the Angels this year. Came up late June. He went 8-2 in Salt Lake City. And the pitch to Lofton is grounded foul, first base side. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So combined 17-6 for John Lackey this year.
Angels pitchers in the World Series have done a good job against the top third of the order, Lofton, Aurelia, and Kent. Those three batters have a total of 7 hits in the first 3 games.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. It's chopped towards second base. Tough play. Benji Gill can't get him. He topped that ball past the mound. Lackey couldn't quite reach it. Gill charging it, but Lofton can fly down that line. Benji tried to glove it and flip it out of his glove to first. He actually threw it past Spezio, but it didn't matter. It's an infield single for Kenny Lofton. Just his second hit of the World Series. That brings up Rich Aurelia. Aurelia is 3 for 14 with a home run and an RBI.
Wouldn't be surprised to see the Giants have something going here with Lofton on at first base. Lackey takes some time because of his size to deliver to the plate. Those long legs and arms, so it takes him a while to get the whole thing going to home plate. Look for Lofton to be on the move, possibly on one of these pitches.
The Giants would really love to get the first score on the board tonight. Lackey looks in. John goes into his stretch, checks Lofton. The pitch to Aurelia is bunted, foul. Back up over the screen and into the seats behind home plate. The count 0-1 to Rich Aurelia. The Angels tonight defensively. Scott Spezio at first, Benji Gill at second base, David Eckstein at short, Troy Gloss at third. Garrett Anderson in left, Aaron Erstad in center, Tim Salmon in right, and Benji Molina behind the plate. No balls and 1 strike to Rich Aurelia. He had 10 sacrifice bunts in the NLCS. That was a record. He's had 3 in the World Series. Now he backs out of the box. No balls and 1 strike to him. Lofton at first base. Spezio holding him on. No score here in the bottom of the first inning. Lackey shakes off Molina. Now he's set and his 0-1 pitch. Curve ball swung on and missed. Good pitch by John Lackey. Really had Aurelia out in front of it.
Yeah, that was a good slow curveball right there.
Lackey jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. On deck is Kent, and of course Bonds is the cleanup man. 0-2 to Rich Aurelia. Big hole on the right side with Spezio holding Lofton on. The 0-2 pitch is fouled away at home plate. Count remains no balls, 2 strikes. The Angels coming in here tonight with a 2-1 lead in this World Series, having won 2 games in a row. They lost the first game to the Yankees and won 3 straight. They lost the first game to the Twins and won 4 straight. They lost the first game to San Francisco, and they've won 2 straight. No balls, 2 strikes to Aurelia. Lackey's pitch. Fastball hit in the air into right field. That's going to drop in for a hit. There goes Lofton to third base as Salmon gets the ball in, but the Giants are in business.
Good job of 2-strike hitting there by Aurelia. He just served that ball the opposite way, dropped it into shallow right field. And he really had to go after that pitch. That pitch was low and away. Would have been a ball.
Oh, by far. Lackey threw him a breaking ball that was way outside, but Aurelia pokes it into right. And now the Giants have runners on the corners with nobody out, and Kent and Bonds coming up. Jeff Kent, 3 for 13 in this World Series with 1 home run, but you know he can hit. He's hitting .255 in the postseason. Ken steps in there. The Angels back on the infield. They'd like to get a double play. They'd give up a run to get 2 outs. Kent takes a fastball inside. 1 ball and no strikes to the Giants' second baseman. Lackey in a jam right off the bat here in the bottom of the first. He's into his stretch. The 1-0 pitch is hit in the air down the right field line. Salmon chasing, but it slices foul up into the seats. 1 ball and 1 strike. Aurelia returns to first base. He's there on a hit. Lofton had an infield hit, so the first two Giants to bat in this inning have singles. Now Jeff Kent trying to keep the momentum going for San Francisco. He hit .313 this year. He had 37 home runs, 108 runs batted in.
Driven in 100 runs or more 6 straight seasons, which for a middle infielder, a second baseman, those numbers are hard to beat.
1 ball, 1 strike. Lackey delivers to him, and it's fouled straight back, strike 2. 1-2. Kent has had 3 seasons of 30-plus home runs. That's the most ever by a second baseman, tied with Rogers Hornsby. He did it 3 times also.
Jeff Kent, a free agent at the end of the World Series. The Giants have not said whether or not they're going to try to re-sign him.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Kent. Runners on the corners. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. The Giants trying to jump on the Angels early here in the first. Another capacity crowd of somewhere between 42 and 43,000, depending on the number of standing room tickets they sold, and it looks like a lot just looking out over there in right field. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Kent, who is standing out of the box now. He looks like he might have something in his eye, kind of walking away from the batter's circle at the moment. Lackey just waiting for him. The Angels playing Kent deep and straight away. Lackey is set. He goes into his stretch, and the 2-2 pitch. Oh, he just missed. A fastball that looked like it caught the outside corner is called ball 3. Wow, how can you take that pitch with 2 strikes? But he got away with it. It's a full count to Jeff Kent. They might be running Aurelia. He does not go, and the pitch is swung on and missed. John Lackey threw him a wicked breaking ball, 3-2. Boy, that's pitching.
Sure was. That has Kent going back to his dugout, shaking his head. Another slow curveball there.
If he lays off that pitch, the bases are loaded for Bonds. Nice breaking ball by Lackey. So 1 out, runners at first and third, and you hear the boos. They're going to walk Barry intentionally and load him up. That's not a surprise. The Angels will put another man on base, yes, but that also keeps the double play intact, gives them a force play at any base, and takes the bat out of Bond's hands. They don't need any more convincing as far as what Barry can do.
Santiago, who's waiting on deck, a guy that doesn't run very well. He hit into 19 double plays this season, so Lackey can get him to hit one on the ground, a pretty good chance to get out of the inning.
Bases loaded for the Giants. 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. No score. And Benito Santiago at the plate. Santiago is just 2 for 13 in the World Series. Angels looking for a double play on the infield. Lackey sets the pitch to Santiago. Inside with it, ball 1.
That was the 20th pitch thrown by Lackey here in the first inning. He's retired just 1 hitter.
A .241 postseason average for Santiago, but just 154 in the World Series, 2 for 13. He's driven in 1 run. They have the bases loaded. Only 1 out in the bottom of the first. Lackey delivers. Santiago fouls it back. The Angels left 2 men on in the top half of the inning, stranding runners at first and third. It's overcast and gray, a typical Bay Area late October early evening. Temperature in the upper 50s. Just a threat of some drizzles maybe, nothing any more serious than that. 1 ball and 1 strike to Santiago. As Lackey leans in to read Benji Molina. The rookie right-hander sets. The 1-1 pitch is grounded foul behind the Giants dugout, third base side, and it's 1-2. 2 hits in the inning for the Giants. Lofton and Aurelia with singles. Kent struck out. Bonds was intentionally walked. And now Lackey ahead on the count to Santiago, 1-2. The on-deck man is J.T. Snow. Lackey staring in, nods yes to Molina. Here's the 1-2 pitch, breaking ball outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We'll pause here 10 seconds for our stations to identify themselves. This is the Anaheim Angels Baseball Network.
You're listening to the Anaheim Angels on Talk Radio AM570 KLAC Los Angeles. Home of Susie Orman, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m.
Benji Molina goes out to say something to Lackey. Rory Markus, along with Terry Smith, Darren Chan, our producer-engineer, Frank LaForelli back at our flagship station, KLAC. Angels starting pitcher John Lackey facing a first-inning crisis. Bases loaded, 1 out. And a 2-2 count to the veteran catcher, Benito Santiago. Lackey ready. He checks the runners. Here he comes, 2-2. It's grounded over the mound. Eckstein steps on second, throws to first, double play. They're out of the inning. They just got Santiago, but they get out of a bases-loaded jam in the first inning with a 6-3 double play.
Boy, what a backbreaker that was for San Francisco.
He's 4 for 11. He had a big night last night. He takes Reeder's first pitch outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Spezio will be followed by Benji Gill and Benji Molina. And then the pitcher, John Lackey. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Spezio looks at a strike. 1-1. No score, top of the second. Reeder working fairly quickly, comes back to the plate 1-1, and the breaking ball is fouled away out of play. Hey, Angel fans, visit angelsbaseball.com for the best selection of official World Series merchandise. To support your American League champion Angels and dress in style, go to angelsbaseball.com. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Scott Spezio. Reeder delivers 1-2. Spezio takes high and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Spezio batting right-handed. He's a switch hitter, batting right-handed against the lefty Kirk Reeder. Now the 2-2 on the way is outside. Ball 3. The count is full, 3-2. Spezio leading off the Angels half of the second. 3-2 pitch, fouled off to the right, out of play. That's back up into the seats.
Giants players like playing behind Kirk Reeder. He's a very quick worker. He'll get a lot of ground balls, so the fielders kind of have to stay in the game with Reeder out there on the mound.
Spezio in the regular season hit .368 against left-handed pitching. And he hits one back over the mound. It's behind second, fielded by Aurelia. He gets him. Good play by Rich Aurelia. Not a hard hit ball, but Aurelia had to go behind the bag to glove it and then make a good enough throw to get Spezio. 1 out. That brings up Benji Gill. Gill digging himself in, has 1 at-bat in the World Series and 1 hit. In the postseason, he's 5 for 8, so pretty good offensive playoff series for Benji Gill.
Got that hit last night as a pinch hitter. That's been the only pinch hit the Angels have had the entire postseason.
The pitch by Reeder. Gill takes outside for ball 1. Adam Kennedy sitting down tonight with a left-handed starter on the mound, but of course Kennedy and Fulmer and the rest of the guys are available for pinch hitting duty, but Kennedy and Fulmer are not really accustomed to sitting down here during the playoffs. The 1-0 pitch, Gill lines it into right field. He's 2 for 2 in this World Series now. Benji goes the opposite way with a 1-out single. Reeder averaged giving up a hit per inning in the regular season.
Well, he's always around the plate. He throws strikes. He rarely walks people. He had only 54 walks this year in 203 innings. So you know you're going to see hittable pitches.
Now Benji Molina up there with the pitcher, John Lackey, on deck. Molina got his first 2 hits of this World Series yesterday, and he walked 3 times. That was because Ortiz was hitting behind him. The pitch to Molina, a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Benji, I heard your post-game interview with him. He said, yeah, I walked 3 times. It's unbelievable. But if there were a pitcher hitting behind him every night, he'd get a lot more walks.
He might lead the league in walks.
No balls into strike to Benji. Reeder delivers. Curveball is laced into center field. That's in for a hit. It one-hops to Lofton. And the Angels have runners at first and second with 1 out. And their pitcher, John Lackey, coming up.
Well, we'll see how the Angels play it here. If they might have Lackey bunting, even with 1 out, try to move the runners up, or if they'll give him a chance to swing away. John Lackey was a DH and first baseman in junior college and a very good hitter. He was actually a good power hitter, but he has not had very many at-bats in his professional career and has not had a single at-bat at the major league level.
So Lackey stepping in there. The Giants expect him to bunt. This is his first major league plate appearance. He's around a bunt and takes it. Ball 1. Throw to second. Gill just got back. Oh, Benji Gill almost got picked off of second base. Trying to get a little head start on what he thought would be a bunt. But when Lackey didn't bunt it, Benji almost was caught. Runners at first and second. 1 out. 1 ball and no strikes to John Lackey. He swings the bat as though he means business up there. He's around a bunt and takes a strike. Obviously a pretty good pitch. 1-1. One out, 2 on, no score. With Grayson County College in Texas 3 years ago, Lackey hit .428 with 15 home runs. Of course, this isn't Grayson County College. Here's the pitch. Lackey bunts, foul, strike 2.
Now the problem now in a bunting situation, now he has 2 strikes, but when he was in junior college, he never bunted there either. He was a power hitter. He was hitting home runs.
Reeder's ahead on the count to him, 1-2. 2 men on, 1 out. Top of the second, no score. John Lackey in his first major league plate appearance. And Kirk Reeder looking in. He checks the runners. Lackey swings and fouls it away. He showed bunt, pulled the bat back, and got a pretty good hack at that one. The ball came back and hit Benito Santiago right on the foot. That wasn't a bad swing by Lackey.
He was really choking up.
One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. The Angels hoping their pitcher can come through with a hit right here in the second inning. Kirk Reeder into his stretch. Here's the 1-2. Ooh, just missed. Ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lackey takes a look down at Ron Renicky to see if he's still bunting here with a 2-2 count. The Angels have Benji Gill at second, Benji Molina at first. Of course, if Lackey hits a ground ball, then the Giants are out of the inning. Here's the 2-2 pitch. He hits one into right. It's a base hit. They're going to have to stop Gill at third as it one-hops directly out to Reggie Sanders. But John Lackey is 1 for 1 in his major league hitting career as he lines a single into right. That's a big, big hit for the Angels.
Boy, it sure is. Angels pitchers during the regular season only had a total of 2 hits in the interleague games. Aaron Seeley had 1 and Jared Washburn had 1. And how about Big John? First time up in the big leagues, first plate appearance, gets a World Series hit. They got to take that baseball out of the game.
The Giants had the bases loaded with 1 out in the first inning and did not score. The Angels have the bases loaded in the second inning with 1 out. We'll see what happens to them. David Eckstein at the plate. Reeder delivers, and it's outside and high, ball 1. Right about now, the Giants have to have it going through their mind. My goodness, even the pitcher's getting a hit. The Angels have 4 hits already. They've had 16 in each of the last 2 games. The 1-0 pitch to Eckstein is popped up. Shallow left field. We'll see if they try to score Gill. Lofton calls off Bonds. Here comes Gill. Here comes Lofton's throw to the plate. He is safe at home. The Angels get the 1-0 lead. Just barely deep enough. Lofton had a little better angle, and he and Bonds are talking about it right now. Kenny made the catch and the throw a little bit to the first base side of home plate. Gill slides in safely, so it's a sacrifice fly and an RBI for David Eckstein. The Angels lead 1-0 in the second inning.
Eckstein was tied for second on the club during the regular season in sac flies. Had 8 of them, led the club in sacrifice bunts. He always does the little things that help you win games.
Runners at first and second now with 2 outs, 1 run in. Darren Erstad at the plate for the Angels. Reeder delivers, curveball outside, ball 1. So it's the Angels who get on the scoreboard first tonight with 1 run here in the second. The Angels are 70-24 this year when they score first. 5-0 in the postseason. The 1-0 pitch, Erstad checked his swing, but it's a strike. The World Series is brought to you by Thermacare. Feel the difference between can't and can. 1 ball and 1 strike to Darren Erstad. 2 men on, 2 men out, 1 run in for the Angels. Erstad 6 for 17 in the World Series. Reeder sets the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball is hit back to the mound. Reeder goes to Snow, and that retires the side. But the Angels get on the board, 1 run on 3 hits. No Giant errors and 2 left. After an inning and a half, the Angels 1, the Giants nothing on the Anaheim Angels Baseball Network. JT Snow will lead things off for the Giants. Snow has not really been hitting for a big average the last couple of years. Last year he hit .246. This year he came back and hit .246 again. In the series, he's 4 for 11. Lackey's curveball starts him off with a strike, 0-1. Snow followed by Sanders and Bell. Giants batting here in the bottom of the second inning with the Angels ahead 1-0. 0-1 pitch to Snow is low and away. Ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. JT this year hit 6 home runs, drove in 53 runs in limited action. Well, not really limited. He was playing almost every day. There's a pitch inside for ball 2. 2-1. He did get 422 at-bats. Not quite the 625 that Erstad had, but still a good number. 2 balls and 1 strike to Snow. Lackey into his windup. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Hard hit ground ball fielded by Spezio. He leads Lackey to the bag, out number 1. So 1 up, 1 down, and that'll bring on Reggie Sanders. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Anaheim Angels and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Anaheim Angels. Reggie Sanders, 4 for 11 in the series. Stepping in to face John Lackey with 1 out. Giants had the bases loaded with 1 out last inning and did not score. The pitch by Lackey. Sanders takes it down low for a ball. 1-0. Reggie Sanders, veteran. He was swinging a very hot bat in the first 2 games of the series. The 1-0 pitch to him. takes just off the plate, ball 2. When San Francisco has scored first in the postseason, and they've done it 9 times, they've won 6 of them. But they did not score first tonight. The Angels lead it 1-0. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Sanders. That one's fouled back out of play. 2-1. The Giants are hitting .245 in their first 13 games of postseason. They're scoring about 5 runs per game. Last night they scored 4, but the Angels put a 10 up. 2-1 the count. Sanders waits. Lackey winds and delivers 2-1, and it's swung on and missed. He threw the fastball by him. 2-2. The Giants won their last 8 to conclude the regular season. And they have 8 victories in the postseason. So overall, they've won 16 of their last 21 games. This is not a team that will go easily. 2-2 pitch to Sanders. Breaking ball hit right back up the middle. Nice job of hitting by Sanders. He turns aggressively but holds on. That's the 3rd hit for the Giants already. 1 out, 1 on. And now David Bell stepping in. David Bell represents just the 2nd time in Major League history that a grandfather-grandson combo has homered in the World Series. David Bell's grandpa, Gus Bell, homered in 1961 with the Reds. And the others are Ray Boone and Brett Boone. So David Bell, Gus Bell's grandson, at the plate. He is 2 for 9 in the series. Lackey delivers to him. Bell takes a strike, 0-1. Boy, John Lackey's already given himself one terrific birthday present. His first major league hit in the top half of this inning. He's 24 years old today.
And the other present he got was courtesy of Santiago, grounded into that inning-ending double play with the bases loaded in the bottom of the first, last inning.
No balls, 1 strike to David Bell. We're in Game 4 of the World Series, the 2002 World Series at Pac Bell Park in San Francisco. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Bell. He checked his swing, but it's a strike. Kirk Reeder, the pitcher, is on deck.
That's why Bell's a big batter here. If you can get him out, then 2 outs, you have the pitcher coming up. You certainly expect to get Reeder, although he's not a bad hitting pitcher. He's a good contact man. Doesn't strike out a whole lot.
No balls, 2 strikes, the count to Bell. Lackey delivers, and the breaking ball is fouled back. Count remains 0-2. David Bell trying to dig himself in there in the batter's box. Reggie Sanders at first base with 1 out here in the 2nd, and the Angels ahead 1-0. Lackey at the belt, 0-2 to Bell. A broken back ground ball to short. Eckstein has only 1 play to first base for the out. Boy, Eckstein and Gloss were coming together toward that ground ball as the barrel of the bat was flying out right at him. Gloss had to kind of sidestep the bat and let Eckstein take the ball. So they get the out at first base. Sanders moves to 2nd. And with 2 outs, it'll bring up the pitcher, Kirk Reeder. Lackey really sawed him off there. Kirk Reeder batting for the first time in this World Series, of course. He's a left-handed thrower and a left-handed batter. Lackey steps off the mound for a moment, looks Sanders back to second base. Reeder in the postseason 0 for 6, but in the regular season he hit 177. Lackey delivers to him, and Reeder chops one to second. Benji Gill plays it. He's going to have to hurry it, and he just barely got him. Wow, Benji a little nonchalant on that ground ball, and Kirk Reeder just retired at first. The Giants are out in the 2nd. No runs. One hit and one man left. And we move to the top of the third inning. Rory Markus along with Terry Smith. Darren Chan, our producer-engineer. 1-0, the Angels leading the Giants. And for the Angels, Tim Salmon starts the third inning. The Angels have left 2 men on in each of the first 2 innings. The first pitch to Tim Salmon, taken outside, ball 1. Salmon, Garrett Anderson, and Troy Gloss facing Kirk Reeder here in the third. Angels have 4 hits, the Giants have 3. Reeder delivers 1-0. Salmon looks at a changeup outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Salmon is 5 for 12 in the series. 22 regular season home runs. And he looks at ball 3. Salmon reached on an error by Bell his first time up. Now Reeder's behind on him, 3-0. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. He takes and it's a strike. Just looking at the clouds, they seem a little darker than they did earlier in the night. It looks like we could get some rain before the night's over. Last night it was drizzly, but nothing that ever threatened the game. Here's the 3-1 to Salmon. Swing and a line drive, base hit into center field. The Angels continue to get their hits. That's 5 in the game already. As the Angels, for the first time tonight, have the leadoff man aboard. Let's pause 10 seconds for our stations to identify themselves. This is the Anaheim Angels Baseball Network.
The Anaheim Angels on Talk Radio AM570 KLAC Los Angeles. Home of Dr. Dina Dell, weekdays from 3 to 4 p.m.
Boy, it's great to see the great Willie McCovey here tonight. Wearing a Giants hat, sitting up in one of the suites. What a tremendous player and hitter. There's a ground ball by Garrett Anderson to second. Kent goes to second just for 1. It was a slowly hit ball. They get the lead out. Salmon at second base. Anderson arrives safely at first, and with 1 out, it'll bring up Troy Gloss.
You were mentioning the Hall of Famer Willie McCovey here. Willie Mays here tonight. Earlier this evening, we saw Hank Aaron, Pete Rose, Cal Ripken Jr. is here.
Boy, did Pete Rose get an ovation. Troy Gloss stepping in now. McCovey was so great, they named part of the San Francisco Bay after him. McCovey Cove out in right field. Troy Gloss at the plate. 1 out, 1 on. The pitch by Reeder. Taken outside for a ball, 1-0. Troy Gloss, 6 for 14. In the series, 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded out to Kent at second. Anderson at first, 1 out in the third. Kirk Reeder's nickname is Woody, after the character in Toy Story. And he does look like him. He looks a lot like him.
It's a dead ringer for him.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's outside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
Reeder likes the nickname. In fact, he has a Woody doll that he proudly displays in his locker here at Pac Bell Park in the Giants clubhouse.
The count is 2-0 to Gloss. 1 out, 1 on. Garrett Anderson at first base. Snow holding him on. And the pitch. Troy hits a drive into center field. That ball's well hit. Lofton to the warning track. To the wall. He leaps up and it's gone. Home run, Troy Gloss. A 2-run shot. The Angels lead it 3-0. Troy tagged that to a part of the ballpark where it's not easy to hit a home run. That one about, at least 410, you would think. As Troy Gloss hits it out and the Angels are up by 3.
That postseason home run for Gloss is 7th. That ties him now with Barry Bonds for the most ever by a player in a single postseason. And Reeder giving up his 5th home run in postseason play this year. He's been hurt by the long ball.
So the Angels have jumped on him again. It's 3-0 in the third inning. 7th home run this postseason for Gloss. Now Spezio at the plate with one out. Reeder delivers, and Scott hits a line shot to center right at Lofton. 2 down. Benji Gill will be the batter. Gill lined a single into right his first time up. The Angels 3, the Giants nothing here in the third.
Well, the Angels right now doing to the Giants just what the Halos did against the Yankees and the Twins. They just never let up. They just keep putting pressure on the other team.
6 hits already for the Angels in the ball game. Benji Gill, 2 for 2 in the series. The pitch by Reeder. He's 3 for 3. Yes, over the glove of Canton into center field. Benji Gill, a 2-out single, and hit number 7 already for Anaheim. That brings on Benji Molina. That's a big hit for Benji Gill. It enables the Angels not to have Molina lead the inning off next inning. Not that he's a terrible hitter, but he's not very fleet of foot. Molina gets a chance to hit now, and if he gets a hit, then you also get Lackey out of the way. But Lackey's a pretty good hitter himself. 1 for 1 tonight. But here's Benji Molina. Molina's singled, and all of a sudden he's hitting 300 in the series. Molina was 0 for 7, then he went 2 for 2 last night, and he's 1 for 1 tonight. A thunder stick got away from one of the fans out in the center field pavilion, and Kenny Lofton has to go get it, so timeout for a moment. They just don't know how to handle their thunder sticks here, do they?
They don't make as much noise with them here as they do at Edison Field.
Benji Molina waiting at the plate. Reeder delivers, and the fastball's up high for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to Molina. At first base is Benji Gill with 2 outs. Angels lead the Giants 3-0 on the home run by Gloss. There's one outside for ball 2 to Benji. 2-0. Kirk Reeder has thrown 53 pitches already. We're only in the third. 2 balls, no strikes. Molina waiting. Reeder looks over at Gill, and the 2-0 delivery popped up right side. Kent going out, Sanders coming in, and the right fielder makes the catch. But the Angels get 2 more runs, 3 hits. They leave 1 at the end of 2.5. Angels 3, the Giants nothing on the Anaheim Angels Baseball Network. Kenny Lofton, Rich Aurelia, and Jeff Kent facing John Lackey here in the third. The Giants had a real opportunity to jump on the Angels in the first inning tonight. They had the bases loaded with 1 out. There's a ball to Lofton, but Santiago hit into a double play, and from then on, the Angels have dominated the ball game. 1 ball, no strikes to Kenny Lofton. Still a long way to go, however. Lofton with an infield hit, his first time up, his second hit of the World Series. He swings and rips 1 foul. He hit it hard down the first base line, just foul. 1 ball, 1 strike to Lofton. He got out in front of that one and stroked it well. Kenny Lofton still in great shape at the age of 35. Here's the 1-1 pitch to him. Ground ball to the right side. That's a base hit. Lofton strokes it through the right side. A leadoff single here in the third. So for the second time, he's aboard as the leadoff man. He was having a slow series offensively until tonight. Now Rich Aurelia, who singled to right his first time up. Lofton hit a pretty good pitch from Lackey.
He did. That pitch was dropping low, and he went down and golfed it. Served it into the outfield for a hit.
Rich Aurelia, 4 for 15, 1 for 1 tonight. The crowd comes to life now as the Giants get the leadoff man on here in the third. Angels 3, San Francisco nothing. Lackey checks Lofton, delivers to Aurelia, and it's in the dirt. Ball 1. Molina jumped up and bluffed Lofton back to first. Aurelia takes a look down at Sonny Jackson coaching at third. 1-0 the count to him. Angels looking for a double play on the infield. Lackey delivers, and it's up high for ball 2. And now Molina going out to talk to Lackey, who has missed by plenty on his first 2 pitches. Game 4 of the World Series brought to you by General Motors, where October is the month to get great deals on GMC and Chevy trucks. Two balls and no strikes to the Giants shortstop. Lofton at first base, nobody out here in the third. Lackey, a young man who just does not rattle, checks the runner, and the 2-0 pitch is hit in the air into left center field. He tagged it pretty well. Erstad, he dropped it. He almost had a diving catch. The ball's in for a double. Darren Erstad went all out for that one, dove on the warning track, and the ball hit him in the heel of the glove.
Boy, if Erstad would have held on to that, they'd be talking about that one for a long time. He nearly made a great diving catch on the warning track. But as Rory mentioned, it bounced off the heel of his glove.
Now the Giants have second and third with nobody out. And Jeff Kent at the plate. A chance for the Giants to get right back into it. They have Kent and Bonds coming up. Kent struck out his first time up. The pitch to him is low and away. Last time up, Kent worked the count to 3-2, and Lackey got him with a great breaking ball. Runners at second and third. Nobody out here in the third. Lackey delivers, and Kent hits one back to Lackey. Nice play by John to glove the line drive. Ooh, a low line drive. Lackey just put the glove up and caught it. And now with Bonds coming up, you can almost bet he's going to be walked right here. First base is open. There is one out. Last time he was up, they loaded him up with Bonds, and they're going to do it again. Well, it's the percentage play by Scioscia, walking Bonds intentionally for the second straight time tonight. This will load the bases with one out for Santiago. Last time the Angels did this, Santiago hit into a double play. Of course, Benito, being a proud veteran of the Major League Wars, would like to make the Angels pay for this strategy. We'll see what happens. Bonds takes his equipment off of his arms, holds his bat out, and a bat boy runs out there who can't be more than about 2 years old.
Yeah, that's Dusty Baker's son right there.
I think he's 4, actually. One out and the base is loaded. Benito Santiago at the plate.
Carbon copy of the first inning. Bases were loaded, one out, and Santiago the batter.
Exactly. Santiago grounded his shortstop into a double play last time in this situation. Lackey sets, here's the pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by Molina. They were talking about Dusty Baker's son. I think his name is Darren. He was sick for game 2. He missed the game, so he was in bed with the flu. When the Giants fell behind, he jumped up out of bed and said, "Mom, the team needs me. Let's go." And she said, "Get back in bed." And he missed game 3 also, but he's back for game 4. 1 ball and no strikes. Santiago in his career has 8 Grand Slam home runs. The 1-0 is grounded foul behind third. Gloss fields it in foul territory. 1 ball and 1 strike. Santiago must have cracked his bat as he heads back to the dugout to get another one.
I'm going to go back to the line drive that Kent hit in this inning, the batter before Bonds, who was intentionally walked. Talked about it on our World Series preview show earlier this afternoon. John Lackey is like an extra fielder out there on the mound. He can flat out field, and with that long frame of his at 6'6", that was some kind of a catch on that liner that he had to reach up and spear.
John Lackey with a great amount of poise for a rookie. He's 1-1 to Santiago. Bases loaded, 1 out. Here's the pitch. A ground ball to short. Eckstein to Gill. Gill to Spezio, and they've done it again. A double play on Santiago makes the strategy of walking Bonds look golden. The Angels get out of the inning. The second time the Giants have had the bases loaded and failed to score. No runs for San Francisco, 2 hits.
All right, thanks, Rory. And the first batter up is John Lackey. The count on John is no balls and 2 strikes. He'll be fouled by the top of the order, David Eckstein and Darren Erstad. 3-0 Halos. We're in the 4th, the pitch, and Lackey takes outside. Boy, John Lackey is doing it with his arm. He's already done it with his bat. First time up in the big leagues here in the World Series, getting a base hit. The 1-2 pitch, and that off-speed pitch misses low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lackey has pitched out of 2 bases loaded, 1 out jams tonight. 2-2 pitch. He smacks one right back to Reeder. He's a good fielder, and he has it. He'll easily throw him out. 1 gone on the comebacker. Top of the order now, David Eckstein.
Santiago has had a frustrating night. The Giant catcher twice has grounded out to shortstop with the bases loaded, hitting into a double play, and he really smashed his helmet into the wall after that last one when he got back to the dugout.
Eckstein has grounded out and had a sacrifice fly, so he's 0 for 1 with a run batted in. Coming into this game, David had hits in 11 of the Angels' 12 postseason games. The pitch, and he takes that one inside for a ball.
It's bad enough for a player of Santiago's stature to know that they're walking Bonds to get to him over and over again, and then to hit into 2 double plays.
Next delivery, that's in there for a strike. Count even, it's 1-1. Reeder, a very fast worker, delivers, and Eckstein drops a bunt down on the third base side, charging his Bell, throws on the run and gets it there in time. Very nicely done by David Bell. He was ready for that. He charged in, fielded the ball, and quickly threw and got Eckstein by a couple steps.
Didn't fool Bell at all. Eckstein laid a good bunt down, but Bell was right on top of it.
So 2 quick outs here in the 4th, and now Darren Erstad will be the batter. Darren has grounded out to second. He's also bounced one back to the pitcher, Reeder, 0 for 2. Erstad with a 12-game postseason hitting streak coming into play tonight. The pitch, and he hits one sharply, but right at second. This will be a very quick inning, and the throw by Kent. Side retired quickly and in order here in the 4th. No runs or hits, no errors, and nobody left. Lackey, who batted in this inning, doesn't have a whole lot of time to relax. He has to head back out there to the mound. We're headed to the bottom of the 4th. It's 3-0 Halos. He's 4 for 12. One of those hits a homer. He's driven in 4 runs. Big John Lackey is ready. Here's the first pitch. And that's in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count. JT Snow not too happy about that call by Mike Winters, the home plate umpire. Snow walking almost all the way out of the batter's circle there in disbelief. In the postseason, he's hitting right at 300. Here's the pitch. And it's a ground ball right to second. Benji Gill eats it up, throws on to first, and it's in plenty of time. 1 quick out here in the Giants' 4th inning. Reggie Sanders will be the next batter. Fans, the Angels Dream Week Fantasy Camp is your chance to play alongside Angels greats for 5 days as you live out your childhood dream to play for the Halos. You're in the lineup every day in your own new style Angels uniform at the team's training site in Tempe, Arizona. For reservations, call 800-888-4376 or visit dreamweek.com. Right-hander against right-hander. KLAC ready. He delivers to Sanders, and he was late on that first pitch. That was a fastball. 0-1 the count. That was a high fastball that KLAC got Sanders to chase, and the scouting report on Reggie Sanders is to give him those high fastballs. He has trouble with that pitch. Next delivery, that one is low. Breaking ball missed. Count even. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. KLAC 1-0 in the postseason. And he's making his second postseason start, his 4th postseason appearance. Here's the 1-1. And that one misses low. The count 2 balls and 1 strike. Two and 1 the count on Reggie Sanders. Giants have David Bell waiting on deck. Great to have you tuned in to Game 4 of the 2002 World Series. Angels leading 3-0. The pitch cut on and fouled back behind home. So the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sanders, a veteran player like so many of these players in the lineup for the Giants. Every single hitter in their lineup, and you can even include the pitcher Reeder. 30 years old or older. 2-2. And that breaking ball froze Sanders, but it missed inside. So the count runs full, 3-2. Reggie Sanders has moved around in his big league career. Giants are the 5th team that he's played for. He was with the world champion Diamondbacks last year, but they elected not to re-sign him at the end of the 2001 season. He was a free agent. Giants signed him during the offseason, and Reggie Sanders gave them some pretty good power numbers. Hit 23 home runs this year, 85 runs batted in. 3-2 pitch, and he pops one in the air into right field. Tim Salmon is under. He'll make the catch. Routine play on that fly ball, and that will be the second out. 2 are gone. David Bell will be the batter. Let's pause 10 seconds for our stations to identify themselves. This is the Anaheim Angels Baseball Network. Two outs. And Bell the batter, the pitch. He lays off one low and away. It's 1 ball, no strikes. KLAC has yet to allow a run. He hasn't put any long stretches together of retired batters, but he's working on one now of 3 set down in a row. He's gotten the big outs, though, tonight with runners on base. Twice pitching with 1 out, and the base is loaded. He got Benito Santiago to hit ground balls to shortstop David Eckstein, and both of them ended up being inning-ending 6-3 double play balls. 2-0 is the count here on Bell. The pitch, and that one's low and away, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. KLAC has walked 2, but both of the walks are intentional. He's recorded 1 strikeout. Behind here, 3-0 on Bell. The pitch, and that's a strike on the outside corner. 3-1 the count. When we move on to inning number 5, the Angels will send up Salmon, Anderson, and Gloss against the left-hander Kirk Reeder. The 3-1 hard hit foul over on the third base side, so the count runs full. It's now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Angels in this World Series really swinging the bats. This is game 4 of the World Series, and we're only in the 4th inning, and the Angels have already had 48 hits in the World Series, scoring 27 runs right now altogether. The pitch, that one's hit in the air in the left field. Chasing is Garrett Anderson, and he'll run it down out there in left center. That will end the inning. So Lackey has his first 1-2-3 inning, and he did a good job there of getting Bell. He had fallen behind 3-0 and gets him on the lineout. Done a good job for the Angels here in the postseason. He's hit safely in 8 of the 13 ball games now the Angels have played. So Salmon getting ready to move into the batter's box. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Halos. No runs, 5 hits for San Francisco. Reeder set the first pitch, and that's a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Well, we've talked throughout the World Series about the hot bats the Angels have had here against the Giants. Dusty Baker, the Giants manager, has certainly been impressed as Salmon swings and fouls that one back behind the plate. The count, no balls and 2 strikes. Baker saying after last night's game that hopefully the Angels will hit themselves out. He was talking about how the Angels put the ball in play. They run the bases well. Next pitch, that's high and away. It misses, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dusty Baker saying that most of the Angels players are contact hitters. They don't strike out very often. And that the Angels have a very good lineup as far as he's concerned. 1-2 delivery. That one's inside. And the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, gauging by the way the flags are blowing out in right center field, wind might have shifted out a little bit right now. The pitch, that one's outside. So the count runs full. It's 3-2. Reeder had Salmon in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes. Now the count full. The Giants lefty is set, and the 3-2 pitch. It's a called 3rd strike. Curveball got him looking. Salmon knew it. He was upset with himself that he didn't swing at that pitch. That was a good breaking ball there that nipped the inside corner. So the strikeout is the first one for Reeder. He is not a strikeout pitcher. He doesn't throw that hard. He had only 76 strikeouts in just under 204 innings this year. Here's Garrett at the plate, and he pops a ball into shallow left field. It'll drop in for a base hit. It was over the head of the third baseman Bell, and Bonds had no prayer out there in left field to come in to make the catch. And Garrett has his 2nd hit of the night. He's been on base safely all 3 times up. Well, Garrett Anderson, left-handers pose him no problems at all. He hits well against lefties. So he's a 1-out base runner. And now Troy Gloss, who has certainly been a thorn in the side of the Giants in this World Series, will be the batter. Gloss with 3 home runs here in the World Series. And Troy taking his time before getting set in the batter's box. Gloss hitting .467 here in the World Series. Here's the pitch, and he takes that one for a strike. Troy Gloss, no doubt about it, having an MVP type World Series for the Halos. He has done his job. Reeder is set. Left-hander looks over at first, delivers. Pitch was inside. Count even. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Tomorrow, in Game 5 of this World Series, Jared Washburn will oppose Jason Schmidt. It'll be a repeat of Game 1 when those two faced each other, and the Giants did win that game. The toss over to first base. Garrett back to the bag safely. We were talking about John Lackey pitching tonight on his 24th birthday. When Washburn goes to the mound tomorrow, he'll be pitching on his 4th wedding anniversary. His wife Curry is here with him here at Pac Bell Park, and they'll celebrate their anniversary tomorrow during the day, and then Jared will head to the mound tomorrow evening in Game 5 of the World Series. Here's the pitch, and that one misses. 2 balls and 1 strike. Troy Gloss, the batter. Angels hitting here in the 5th and leading 3-0. Runner on at first, 1 out. Infield is at double play depth. The outfield playing Gloss straight away. They play him deep. Here's the next pitch, and he chops a ball to short. Could be 2. Second base for 1. Relay it is. A double play, and that'll end the inning. So the Angels hit into a double play for the first time tonight. 6-4-3, the scoring on that inning-ending double play. First pitch on Reeder. That's in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count. Reeder batted .177 this year for the Giants, and he drops a bunt down but fouls it off. So the count moves to no balls and 2 strikes. Kenny Lofton and Rich Aurelia, who Lackey has struggled with, are the batters who will follow here in the bottom of the 5th. Lackey entering this 5th inning, having retired the last 4 batters in a row. Next pitch, and that one is fouled off the foot of Reeder, the pitcher. So the count is holding at no balls and 2 strikes. John Lackey, one of a number of rookie pitchers who really gave the Angels a shot in the arm this year. The pitch, that one's low and inside. Fans not liking Lackey coming in that close to Reeder, their pitcher. And the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. John ready. Here's the next pitch. Reeder chops a ball out in front of the plate. Lackey has it, throws, not in time. Boy, that was just a soft dribbler just in front of the batter's circle where the infield grass begins, out in front of home plate. Both Molina and Lackey were going after that ball, and it was John Lackey who got to it first. He picked it up barehanded and threw late. He really didn't do anything wrong there. The Angels just weren't able to make a play fast enough on it. Ball shot up in the air after it bounced in front of the plate. So Reeder has a World Series hit, the Giants pitcher. And the Giants have hit number 6 overall. And here's Lofton, who's had 2 of those hits. He's 2 for 2, a couple of singles. Angels want to make sure they're on the same page here defensively, as Spezio was signaling and time was called as Lackey stepped off the rubber for a moment. Now he's back on there and delivers on Lofton, who drops a bunt down on the third base side. It's hugging the line, still hugging the line, still hugging the line, and it's a fair ball. Gloss decided to pick the ball up. I don't know if he thought the ball had rolled across the line foul, but the home plate umpire, Mike Winters, was watching the whole time. He came running up the third base line from behind home plate. It's a bunt single. Well, when Gloss decided to let that ball roll, the wise thing would have been to just see where the ball was going to eventually land, because he picked it up, and boy, watching the replay, it looked like that ball might have rolled across the line into foul territory, but it had a little bit of backspin on it, and it looked like it might have been shifting directions. That was your true line hugger right there. So 2 are on with nobody out, and Aurelia at the plate, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. It looked like when Gloss picked the ball up, it was just barely touching the line. It had rolled across the line, but he didn't pick it up fast enough because the ball kind of snuck back onto the chalk line. 1-0 pitch, a swing and a miss, 1-1. One thing about Lackey tonight, he is used to working in situations with runners on base. So far, he's been able to dodge every bullet that has come his way. And he's going to have to dodge some more here with 2 on, nobody out. Aurelia with the count 1-1, swings, drills one foul to the seats down the left field side. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
This is the first time tonight he's really been unlucky. We'll see how he reacts to it. First and second, nobody out with Aurelia, Kent, and Bonds. This is a critical point in the game.
There's no action in the Angels bullpen. Lackey has thrown 76 pitches. Keep in mind, he threw 2 1/3 innings of relief on Sunday. And that was against the Giants in Game 2 of the World Series. That was the game that Kevin Apier started. You might recall Kevin was knocked out early, and Angels had to go to their bullpen early, and Lackey was one of a number of relievers who pitched in that game for the Halos. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count on Aurelia, and he asks for time, steps out of the batter's box. 7 hits in the inning. The 2 hits here in the bottom of the 5th have both been infield hits. Any luck at all, Lackey might be working with 2 outs and nobody on instead of 2 on and nobody out. He's ready, the 1-2 pitch. That's a fastball up and in. 2-2 the count. Rich Aurelia wearing the extra padding on his left elbow. After Aurelia, it'll be Kent. After Kent, it's Bonds, who's been intentionally walked both times up. 2-2 pitch. Aurelia with a liner into right field. It's going to drop in for a base hit. Reeder, the pitcher, will be waved around. The throw goes to second, a run in. Runners at the corners, nobody out. And the Giants trail it 3-1. 3 straight hits. And Jeff Kent, who struck out and lined out, will be the next batter.
Aurelia's 3 for 3 now, and he has hit some pretty good pitches. He's done a good job at the plate tonight. He didn't try to pull it. The pitch was away from him. He just took it to the opposite field. Clean single. And Lackey's really in torment right now as Bud Black goes out to talk to him with Kent and Bonds coming up. Still nobody out. And the way Kirk Reeder has settled down, this is a very critical part of the game for the Angels.
Angels bullpen remains quiet down the right side. Bullpens here at Pac Bell Park are the open air bullpens that are in foul territory down both lines. So it's not very far from the Angels first base dugout to where the pitchers warm up down the right field line in foul territory. But no one warming up right now.
You don't see that very often because they don't want their outfielders running into a mound down there, but it's the way it is.
So here is Kent. Runners at the corners, the pitch. He pops one down the right side foul, and it's going to get back to the seats and out of play. No balls and 1 strike. Aurelia, who drove in the Giants' first run here in Game 4 of the World Series, has now driven in 14 runs for them. He is tied with Barry Bonds for their club lead in the postseason in RBIs. 0-1 the count, the pitch. It's popped in the air into fairly shallow right field. Let's see what will happen. Salmon will make the catch. Lofton is going to tag. Throw to the plate is way wide, and it got by Molina. And by the time Lackey backs up and gets it easily, moving up the base is Aurelia from first to second. So give Kent a sacrifice fly on it to make it a 3-2 ball game. The Angels lead cut to a run. And then there will be the error on the throw that was not cut off back to the infield, enabling Aurelia to take second.
Boy, the Angels have been priding themselves on not making mistakes. And that was a huge mistake. Not only did Salmon not get any kind of a running start toward home plate, he was backing up when he caught it on a shallow fly ball. But then I don't know why Benji Molina didn't go after the ball. He just kind of watched it roll by him.
So now Bonds will bat, and he's going to be intentionally walked for the third straight time. So even had the Angels played better defense on the sac fly by Kent, the Angels would have likely done this anyway. Had first base been occupied, they would have likely walked Bonds anyway, and so they're going to get the same situation out of it. And the batter will be the catcher Santiago, who's been up 3 times now with people on base. He's grounded into 2 inning-ending double plays, and he'll bat with 1 out here and runners at first and second. Can KLAC get him to do it again? We'll see.
Boy, you know that Benito is just salivating at getting a third chance here.
Aurelia is the tying runner. He's at second. Bonds is on at first. Intentionally walked all 3 times tonight. Here's the pitch on Santiago, and he takes it low for ball 1. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Benito Santiago is your classic bad ball hitter. He will swing at anything that's anywhere near the plate. Rarely walks. 1-0 pitch, and he lines one into center field. It's a base hit. Aurelia is going to be waved home. Erstad's throw to the plate is late. He'll score. We're tied at 3. That time there, KLAC couldn't get Santiago, and he ties up the game with that single to straightaway center.
He's a good veteran ball player. There's only so many times I think you can keep tempting fate. Santiago hit into double plays twice, but the third time was the charm for him.
So the Giants have tied this game up.
And they've exposed one little weakness the Angels have, the arms in the outfield. Neither Salmon nor Erstad made a particularly good throw to home.
Giants have Bonds at second. Santiago on at first. Bonds represents the go-ahead run. Ben Weber is up in the Angels bullpen, and the first pitch misses for a ball on JT Snow. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Angels led this game 3-0 going to this 5th inning. We're tied. The pitch, and that one is hit in the air into right field. Salmon will make the catch, and the runners will hold as Bonds was off the bag at second. He had no chance to tag on that one. Had he been closer to second, he might have been able to advance, but he was about midway to third base when the ball was caught by Tim Salmon. So that'll be the second out. Salmon with a couple of putouts in this inning, and now Reggie Sanders will be the next batter. Sanders is 1 for 2. And he's had a good World Series against the Angels. Had 4 hits, a couple of them home runs. Go-ahead run is on at second. 2 outs. See if KLAC can prevent any further damage here in this inning. The pitch, and that's a strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. 3 runs, 9 hits for San Francisco. All the runs in this inning. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Angels. Angels got a run in the second and scored 2 in the third on a Troy Gloss homer. Time called. Sanders backs out of the box. KLAC has now thrown 89 pitches. At the rate it's going now, KLAC might have 1 more inning left. Infield is back. Sanders taking a lot of time before getting set in the batter's box. And KLAC is ready to come in. Here's the 1-strike pitch. A swing and a miss. Gave him a fastball there, and he went after it, so the count 0-2. Well, the first two batters in this inning, Reeder and Lofton, with infield hits. And you look back at how the inning started. They got those infield hits. Both of those batters came in to score. They haven't exactly crushed the ball against Lackey in this inning, but they've scored 3 runs. 0-2 pitch. That's low. Blocked nicely by Benji Molina. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
In the last 2 games the Angels have won, they've kept Lofton and Aurelia really off the bases. But tonight, those 2 players are 6 for 6. That's a big, big difference right there.
One and 2 the count. Sanders again out of the batter's box. He's moving back in. Lackey is looking in for the sign. About ready to deliver the pitch. It's popped in the air into shallow right field. Salmon has a long way to go. Spezio back. It drops foul. Angels a little lucky there because no one caught up to that ball, but it did land foul out where Ben Weber is warming up down in that open air bullpen. We mentioned the bullpens running right alongside the foul lines down both the left and right side. Foul ball. Count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mentioned Kenny Lofton and Aurelia at the top of the order, and they've been real pests tonight for John Lackey in the first 3 games of the World Series. Lofton, their leadoff man, had scored only 1 run. But he's had another run scored tonight. And the Giants are back in this game, having tied it up. 2 on with 2 outs. Game tied at 3. The 1-2 pitch. Sanders chops 1 foul on the third base side. So the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes when the Angels come up. In inning number 6, it'll be Spezio, Gill, and Molina. When it's all said and done tonight, the bullpens will likely have a big say in the outcome of this game. Lackey is set, working with the count. 1-2 the pitch. Outside and missed. 2-2.
If that's the case, the Angels are set up well. Weber, Rodriguez, and Percival did not work yesterday, and they had the day off before, so those 3 key members of the bullpen are plenty fresh.
Mike Scioscia said before the game today that even Brendan Donnelly and Scott Schoenweiss available as well. He felt his bullpen was in very good shape going into this game for the World Series. 2-2. Did he go after that one? Yes, he did. Struck him out. So Sanders swings and misses on a pitch that he tried to foul off, but couldn't get a piece of it. And the inning will end on Lackey's 2nd strikeout. But in the inning, the Giants come up with 3 to tie it. They got 3 runs, and they did it with 4 hits, 1 error in the inning, a walk, and they will leave 2 on. Up for the Angels as we go to inning number 6 is Scott Spezio. And the first pitch from Reeder was in there for strike 1. Scott is 0 for 2 tonight, a ground out and a line out. 3-3, we're in the 6th, and the pitch. That one is outside. Count even 1-1. Spezio hitting .308 in the World Series. He came into play batting .372 overall in the postseason, and he fouls that one back behind the plate. So the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Spezio, Gill, and Benji Molina, the 3 batters against Reeder here in the Angels' 6th inning. Reeder has retired 6 of the last 7 that he's faced. He's in front of ball and 2 strikes on Spezio. The pitch, that's low and away, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. There was an interesting story about Kirk Reeder in today's USA Today newspaper in the sports section. He is from Illinois, resides in Nashville, Illinois. The pitch, line shot, base hit through into center field. A 2-strike single by Scott Spiezio keeps up his hot postseason hitting. So the potential go-ahead runner is on base, nobody out. Benji Gill will be the batter. Kirk Reeder, in that article today in the USA Today, in the back of his home in the backyard, and he lives in somewhat a rural area there in Nashville, Illinois. He built what he calls the shed, and it's kind of a community building that he and a lot of his friends and friends of his late father hang out in. Here's a bunt try by Benji Gill, and he fouls it off on the right side, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. And Reeder has all his sports memorabilia. He's a big sports collector, and he gets things from not only Giant teammates but players from around the majors, and he's never bashful to ask for something from some of the big name players, and he has sports memorabilia from NBA players and NFL and NHL players as well. And the offseason they hang out there in what they call the shed.
Well, that shed is 4,700 square feet inside. That's not too bad.
It's actually bigger than his home. Here's a pitch out. They were thinking that maybe the runner at first base, Spiezio, would be on the move. So it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Infield is playing it at double play depth. We've seen some twin killings in this game. The Angels have hit into 1. The Giants have hit into 2. Reeder delivers. Gill around a bunt and fouls off that bunt try. So he hasn't been able to get the bunt down. That was a very high pitch that he tried to bunt. Nearly impossible to drop that one down in fair territory. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Benji Gill. Benji in the postseason has had 1 sacrifice bunt. We'll see if the bunt sign is off now with 2 out, with 2 strikes on him. Nobody out. The 2-strike pitch. He takes it way outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mike Scioscia talking before the ball game about why he decided on Benji Gill tonight and not Adam Kennedy, and he was saying that with the Angels having to bat their pitcher tonight, playing National League rules, that Mike wanted to make sure he got an additional right-handed hitter in the lineup. With the Angels having a couple lefty swingers, Erstad and Anderson, in the lineup against Reeder, he wanted to make sure he had 1 more right-handed batter in the lineup. And for the most part this season, we've seen the Angels manager go this way, with Adam Kennedy, the fine second baseman for the Angels, sitting against most left-handed starters. 2-2, and Benji Gill fouls that one off, so the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Let's pause 10 seconds for our stations to identify themselves. This is the Anaheim Angels Baseball Network.
You're listening to the Anaheim Angels on Talk Radio AM570 KLAC Los Angeles, home of Clark Howard, weekdays from 4 to 7 p.m.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Spiezio on at first. We're in the 6th inning in a 3-3 game. The Giants have come back to tie it, getting 3 on the board in the bottom of the 5th. The pitch, and again Benji fighting through another pitch, fouling it off. Gill doing what so many of the Angels hitters will do, so difficult to strike out, and they will really wear out pitchers by not only fouling balls off, but putting balls in play. And that's certainly a big part of the battle. If you can put it in play, good things figure to happen. That time he couldn't. He swings and misses, struck him out. So just a second strikeout for Reeder. That one there he really had to work hard for. And with 1 out and 1 on, here's Benji Molina, who's 1 for 2 with a single. There is action for the Giants in their bullpen. And they have a left-hander loosening up. Benji Molina digging in. Chad Zerbe is the lefty that they have working now. Reeder is set, delivers, and that one is high and away. It missed. 87 pitches thrown by Reeder tonight. He's had very good control. He has not walked the batter. Certainly a chance to pull a double play here if Molina hits it on the ground. Here's the pitch, and there is one grounded to the first baseman Snow. He goes to second, the relay to first in time, and that will end the inning. The pitcher, Reeder, was covering on what ends up as a 3-6-1 double play. So here in the inning, no runs, the leadoff hit, no errors, and nobody left. We're going to the bottom of the sixth inning. We're tied at 3. 9 hits and 3 runs. They were all earned. He walked 3. All the walks were intentional walks to Bonds. And he recorded 2 strikeouts. So it's in the hands of the Angels bullpen right now as Ben Weber will take over. At the plate is David Bell, the pitch, and that's in there for a called strike. Weber in the postseason has struggled. This is his 8th game, and the Angels are playing their 13th postseason game. Ben is 0-1 with no saves. All the appearances in relief, 7.50 ERA. Pitch is chopped foul over by the pitcher Reeder, who's waiting on deck. Now they're hoping that Bell can lead off the inning, getting on base. And then if Reeder does bat, he would be looking to sacrifice the runner-up. Felix Rodriguez is warming up for them in their bullpen. Here's the 2-strike pitch. That one's low, and the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. So the Angels have placed this game in the hands of the bullpen in a 3-3 ball game. Weber is set. The count 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch, and it's fouled off right by the plate. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ben Weber for a brief time was a San Francisco Giant. He was in their system for a couple of years, played for their AAA club in Fresno for parts of a couple of seasons. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The next pitch, grounded foul over on the left side. So the count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes. After Weber pitched a couple of years in Taipei, he came back to the States, was signed by the Giants. Pitched for the Giants Fresno Farm Club in '99 and part of 2000, and with the Giants for 9 games in that 2000 season, eventually being released. 1-2 pitch. Ball smacked foul on the third base side, so the count is holding at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Don't forget, after Game 4 of the World Series, we will have Angels report, recap of the scoring, some of the play-by-play highlights of this World Series game. We'll also have an interview with one of the stars of the game. We'll hear from Mike Sochi after the game, his post-game news conference. A pitch. That one's whacked into left field. It is a fair ball. Garrett Anderson cuts it off. Still going for second, though, is Bell. The throw, waiting with the tag, and tagging him out is Gill, and he's out trying to stretch it into 2. Garrett Anderson throws a strike to the second baseman, Benji Gill, who was waiting for Bell to come to him at second, and he was a dead duck. Big break right there. And that's going to change Dusty Baker's thinking now, as Reeder, who is waiting on deck, will be lifted for a pinch hitter. And it'll be Tom Goodwin who will be coming in to pinch hit. So give Bell a single, but then he is gunned down by Garrett Anderson at second base. The play went 7-4. So they have a hit in the inning, but no base runners, and now an out. And Goodwin will be the batter. In the postseason, Goodwin has had 6 at-bats with no hits, 4 strikeouts. Swings from the left side, the pitch. And that one on Goodwin is low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. 3-3 the score. 10 hits for the Giants. The Angels have had 9. Angels at one time had a 3-0 lead. That pitch is inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Like Garrett Anderson out there in left field. So steady, so reliable. The 2-0 pitch. That's low again. It's now 3-0. And not a good sign here as Weber has fallen behind Goodwin, who is 0 for 6 in the postseason with 4 strikeouts. The double pump and the 3-0 pitch right down the heart of the plate. That's a called strike. 3-1 the count. Weber working quickly, delivers the 3-1 pitch, and he walked him. Inside, ball 4. So the pinch hitter Goodwin is on, and now Kenny Lofton will be the batter. He's working on a 3-for-3 night. Lofton, a guy that will take his time. He kind of reminds you a little bit of a Garrett Anderson in that he just slowly walks to the batter's box. No big hurry, and then takes a little extra time before he gets set in the box. Kind of likes to set the pace. Everyone ready now. Weber bluffing the base runner Goodwin over there at first base. So Weber has faced 2 batters since coming in. He's given up a hit and now a walk. But he's also working with 1 out thanks to the fine defensive play by Garrett. And showing signs of bunting, taking that pitch for a strike, is Lofton. It's 0-1. Goodwin, the base runner over there at first base. He has speed. He had 16 stolen bases this year. He was caught only twice. Weber ready, delivers, and the Angels had a pitch out there thinking something was up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gloss has been playing up a bit at third base, guarding against the speed of the batter Lofton, who will drop down a bunt from time to time on that third base side. 3-3 the score. Giants batting here in the 6th inning. 1 out, a runner on at first. Weber again bluffing the runner Goodwin over there at first. Angels took a 1-0 lead in the 2nd inning on a sac fly by David Eckstein. Made it 3-0 in the 3rd on a 2-run homer by Troy Gloss. There goes the runner. The pitch is a strike. The throw to second. It's late. Stolen base. So 1-hop throw to Eckstein, who had to wait for it to get out there. And Goodwin now at second. So now the walk to Goodwin is really starting to look costly as he gets to second base with 1 out by stealing the base. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Lofton. Dusty Baker taking a page out of Mike Scioscia's book here in this inning with the little ball, the walk, and now the steal a second. The 2-strike delivery outside. 2-2. There have been some times in this postseason where the Angels have felt that Ben Weber has just pitched too cautiously out there on the mound. Instead of challenging hitters, he's been looking to pick at corners. The 2-2 pitch. Lined into center field. Erstad is breaking back, has a beat. He'll make the catch. Tagging will be Goodwin, and he will easily move from second to third. So he's there with 2 outs. And now a hot hitter tonight in Aurelia will be stepping to the plate. Rich Aurelia with a 3-for-3 night going, 2 singles, a double. He's also driven in a run and scored a run. Aurelia last season had just a fabulous year for the Giants. He had 206 hits last year, but this year he fell off to only 138 hits. This season he had 22 fewer home runs than a year ago. The pitch on him, and he takes a strike, delayed call by the home plate umpire Mike Winters. One of the reasons for the huge drop-off for Aurelia, the fact that he had some elbow problems this season, and he had bone chips removed from his right elbow back in May. Arthroscopic surgery, missed some time, took some time to recover from the surgery. But he's had a pretty good postseason for them. 0-1 pitch, and he lines one. It's caught by the third baseman, Troy Gloss, and that'll end the inning. Gloss jumped up, took it out of midair, and with that big frame, the Angels' big third baseman saves a run right there, and that'll end the inning. So the last two batters lined out, but they failed to score a run here in this inning. No runs, 1 hit.
All right, thanks a lot, Terry. Orlando Palmeiro steps in, a 300 hitter during the regular season. Felix Rodriguez this postseason, 0-1, with a 2.31 earned run average. Salmon beat him with a home run in the 8th in Anaheim. Now we're in the 7th, tied at 3. And the first pitch to Palmeiro is a fastball strike, 0-1. Orlando Palmeiro, 0 for 3 this postseason.
Frankie Rodriguez warming up for the Angels in the right field bullpen.
Felix Rodriguez leaning in for his sign. He'll face Palmeiro, then the top of the order. Palmeiro is batting for Weber. Timeout before Rodriguez delivers, as the second base umpire saw something there. He was waving for timeout. I think a baseball might have somehow been there behind the backstop, just in front of the backstop. The count, no balls and 1 strike to Orlando Palmeiro. Palmeiro had 79 hits this season, 31 runs batted in. Rodriguez works deliberately. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed, strike 2. He throws hard, 95 miles an hour on that one. He threw it by Palmeiro. The count, 0-2 to the Angels pinch hitter.
Wasn't a whole lot of movement on that pitch. It was basically right down the middle, but Orlando a little bit late with the swing.
Eckstein and Erstad to follow. Fulmer available, Kennedy available as pinch hitters. It's 0-2 to Palmeiro. The pitch by Rodriguez. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He strikes Orlando out on 3 pitches. The Angels' offense has gone a little bit cold. They have not scored since the 3rd inning. We're in a 3-3 tie here in the 7th. 3 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Angels. 3 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error for the Giants. And now David Eckstein stepping in. Eckstein had a sacrifice fly in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 2. And 6 for 17 in the World Series. Felix Rodriguez in relief of Kirk Reeder. He went 6 innings, gave up 9 hits, 3 runs, all earned. He didn't walk anybody, and he struck out 2. The pitch to Eckstein is in there for a strike. Boy, Rodriguez is throwing strikes. Neither pitcher, neither starter walked anybody intentionally. Lackey walked 3, but they were all intentional walks to Bonds. 0-1 to Eckstein. Rodriguez sets. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Eckstein takes low and outside. The first pitch Rodriguez has missed with. 1-1 the count to him. Erstad on deck, 1 out, nobody on. Top of the 7th inning at chilly Pac Bell Park, but the rain has stayed away. The breeze has picked up, though. It's blowing out toward right field. 1 ball, 1 strike to Eckstein. Rodriguez delivers, and it's in the dirt, bouncing past Santiago. Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Game 5 of this World Series is tomorrow. Jared Washburn for the Angels, Jason Schmidt for the Giants. A rematch of Game 1, which the Giants won. This is a big game for the Angels. 2 balls and 1 strike to Eckstein. Rodriguez ready. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball popped up. Second baseman Jeff Kent waiting for it. He makes the play, and there are 2 down. So with 2 outs, here's Erstad. Erstad has grounded out all 3 times tonight. Hitting .316 now in the series. Darren batting with 2 outs and nobody on base. Felix Rodriguez has a strikeout and a pop-up in relief here in the 7th inning. Erstad is 6 for 19. Rodriguez looking in. He leans way down when he looks in for the sign, then straightens back up to go into a stretch. He delivers inside to Erstad for ball 1. The Angels had a 3-0 lead. They had 1 run in the second and 2 in the third on a 2-run home run by Troy Gloss. But the Giants came back with 3 in the 5th. The starters will not figure in the decision. We're 3-3 here in the 7th. 2 out, nobody on for the Angels in the top half of the 7th. Erstad waits. Rodriguez sets the 1-0 pitch. Ground ball to first base. Snow has it. Snow underhands to Rodriguez covering. And it's a 1-2-3 7th. The Angels go down in order. God Bless America about to be performed here in the 7th inning stretch. Into the bottom of the 7th inning we go. Rory Markus along with Terry Smith, Darren Chan, our producer-engineer tonight. The Angels and the Giants tied up at 3. Frankie Rodriguez is in the game for the Angels. He's 5-0 in the postseason. You know his story well. 20 years old, a rookie from Venezuela. The only 5 decisions of his life, all wins and all in the postseason. But here in the bottom of the 7th, it's Kent, then Bonds, then Santiago. Frankie's first pitch. Kent takes a strike on the inside corner. Good fastball from Frankie Rodriguez. No balls, 1 strike. Angels 3, Giants 3, bottom of the 7th. Felix Rodriguez in for the Giants. Frankie Rodriguez in for the Angels. And the 0-1 pitch to Kent. Slider swung on and missed. No balls, 2 strikes. Boy, Frankie comes right in, gets a fastball on the black inside corner, and then a wicked slider, which Kent missed as it bounced in the dirt outside of the plate. No balls and 2 strikes. Bonds is on deck. Would they walk Bonds with 1 out and nobody on? Here's the pitch to Kent. Slider outside, ball 1. 1-2. Would they walk him with nobody out and 1 man on? They've walked him every time up tonight intentionally. 3 straight. Frankie into his windup. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed. A great slider from Rodriguez. Strikes out Kent. 1 out, and let's see what they do with Bonds. They've walked him all 3 times up tonight. It's a 3-3 tie in the 7th inning. They're putting the shift on, so they're going to pitch to him. He has faced Rodriguez once. He scalded a ground ball at Spezio, and they got him out. And the crowd now waiting all night to watch Bonds hit, so they get to their feet. And the 20-year-old rookie trying to stare him down delivers a strike with a great slider on the inside corner. And Bonds turns around to Mike Winters and says, that's not a strike. 0-1 the count. Rodriguez comes back to the plate, 0-1, and it's low. Skips by Benji Molina. 1 ball and 1 strike. Benji Gill playing very deep out at second base. He's in shallow right field. You don't normally see an infielder playing that deep, but Bonds hits some hard ground balls too. It's not just the ones he hits out of the park, but he's hit one out of the park in all 3 games so far. Rodriguez shakes Molina off. Now the 1-1 on the way. Slider just missed, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Have as many flash bulbs going off after every pitch like you do for the first pitch of the game.
Rodriguez, 2-1 to Bonds. Here it comes, 2-1. Half swing, strike 2. Frankie has thrown him 4 straight sliders.
Ooh, someone just threw something out onto the field that nearly hit Tim Salmon in right. I don't know what that was.
It's a rubber foam football.
Yep.
Well, at least it wouldn't have hurt him if it hit him. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Barry Bonds. Rodriguez trying to get Bonds here in the bottom of the 7th. Bonds backs out, 1 out, nobody on base. Angels 3, Giants 3. Frankie into his windup. 2-2 pitch is grounded to first. Spezio will take it to the bag himself. So Bonds has faced Frankie Rodriguez twice. Both times he's grounded out to first base. 2 down.
Good job by Frankie. He has to feel good about that.
That brings up Benito Santiago, who, after hitting into 2 double plays tonight, delivered last time up with a line drive single into center field. Boy, quite a game. These 2 teams very even. The series is 2-1. The game is 3-3. And this one has a lot of tension in it right now. The pitch to Santiago, slider, outside, ball 1. Let's pause 10 seconds for our stations to identify themselves. This is the Anaheim Angels Baseball Network.
You're listening to Talk Radio, AM570 KLAC Los Angeles, home of the Anaheim Angels.
The 1-0 to Santiago in the dirt, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Tim Worrell is getting ready in the bullpen for the Giants. Felix Rodriguez pitched the top of the 7th. Frankie Rodriguez here pitching the bottom of the 7th. And behind on Santiago, 2-0. Santiago is just 3 for 16 in the series. Rodriguez winds. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Fastball fouled back. 2-1.
Angels have done a lot better job against Santiago than the Cardinals did against him in the NLCS. Santiago was the NLCS MVP. Batted 300, had a couple of home runs in the National League Championship Series.
2 balls and 1 strike to the Giant catcher with 2 out and nobody on. They pitched to Bonds here in the inning, and he grounded out. The 2-1 pitch, sliders in there, strike 2 called. 2-2. When the Angels hit in the 8th inning, they have Salmon, Anderson, and Gloss due up. And it will be either against Felix Rodriguez or Tim Worrell. Santiago calls time and backs out of there. The count is 2-2. Rodriguez shakes Molina once and delivers 2-2. Sidearm slider fouled back up into the seats. Fans, painting your home has never been easier. You can visit the experts at any of the 50 Southern California Frazee paint and wall covering locations. They'll help you get the job done right the first time. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 out. Nobody on. The 2-2 pitch hit in the air into left field. It's playable. Garrett Anderson in front of Erstad, and Garrett makes the catch. So Rodriguez has a 1-2-3 inning, getting through Kent, Bonds, and Santiago. And at the end of 7, it's the Angels 3, the Giants 3 on the Anaheim Angels Baseball Network. Salmon, Anderson, and Gloss for the Angels in the 8th in a 3-3 tie. Salmon is 6 for 14. The pitch to him, Fastball outside, ball one. Worrell, this postseason, is 2-0, but his earned run average is 5.19. He's making his 10th postseason appearance for the Giants. Salmon 1 for 3 tonight with a single. Here's Worrell's 1-0 pitch to him. It swung on and missed. A high fastball. Salmon went after it. He didn't catch up. Felix Rodriguez went one perfect inning. Frankie Rodriguez has gone one perfect inning. But there's nobody loosening up in the Angel bullpen, so it looks like Frankie will go at least 2. 1-1 to Salmon. Worrell delivers a fastball on the inside corner, strike 2. Salmon this postseason hitting .292. 4 home runs, 12 runs batted in. He is 4 for 8 in his career against Tim Worrell. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Worrell ready, and the 1-2 is low and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tim Worrell's brother Todd was in the World Series in 1985 with the Cardinals. Here's the 2-2 on the way. That's a drive hit into center field. Back on it goes Lofton. He's still racing back. He runs it down. Kenny Lofton makes a nice play in dead center field to take a hit away from Tim Salmon.
That ball was hit over 400 feet out there to center field. And Lofton, who's been a Gold Glove winner several times in his big league career, made a nice play on that one.
1 out in the Angels' 8th, and Garrett Anderson coming up. Angels 3, Giants 3. We're in the top of the 8th inning. The pitch to Garrett Anderson, up high for a ball, 1-0. Tim and Todd Worrell are the 29th brother combination to each appear in a World Series. Of course, Livon Hernandez, who pitched yesterday, and Orlando Hernandez is another one. Anderson swings through the off-speed pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Troy Gloss on deck for the Angels, who are in a 3-3 tie in the 8th inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball to the right side. Snow has it. He'll take it himself, and there are 2 outs. Well, Troy Gloss, who has already hit a 2-run home run, that was back in the 3rd inning, steps in now for the Angels. He hit his home run to dead center field. Last time up, however, he hit into a 6-4-3 double play. He has 7 home runs in the postseason. Boy, would the Angels love to see him make it 8 right here. Top of the 8th inning. The game in a 3-3 tie. Tim Worrell facing Troy Gloss. The first pitch to him, outside, ball 1. Fans, for the ultimate postseason coverage, go to worldseries.com. Get exclusive video, live audio, comprehensive stats, and inside stories. Worldseries.com for baseball around the clock. The 1-0 to Gloss. Fastball in there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two out, nobody on. Troy Gloss facing Tim Worrell. The 3rd pitcher for the Giants tonight. There's a hard shot hit foul by Gloss down the 3rd baseline. Strike 2. Game 5 tomorrow. Jared Washburn for the Angels. Jason Schmidt for the Giants. Right here at Pac Bell Park. If necessary, Game 6, Saturday in Anaheim. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Troy Gloss. Worrell is ready. Here's the 1-2 offering. Fouled straight back by Troy on a fastball. Count remains 1-2. Gloss staying alive up there. Worrell's throwing a lot of fastballs. The Angels seem to be seeing it pretty well. Salmon ripped his to center field, but Lofton ran it down. Anderson hit his fairly hard, but he hit it right at JT. And now it's 1-2 to Troy Gloss. Looking in is Worrell. He is set. The 1-2 pitch is popped in the air into shallow left. Coming in is Barry Bonds. He's there and he's got it. The Angels, Salmon, Anderson, and Gloss, they go out 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. And we head to the bottom of the 8th. Angels 3, Giants 3. JT Snow leads off for the Giants and takes a strike, 0-1. JT 0 for 3 tonight, flied out in his last at-bat, 4 for 14 in the World Series. Frankie Rodriguez working his second inning in a tie game. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Snow. Changeup missed up high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Snow, then Reggie Sanders and David Bell. Rob Nen, the Giants closer, is up in their bullpen now. Here comes the 1-1 to Snow. Line drive right field. Salmon plays it on a hop. It's a leadoff single for the Giants in the 8th. Now will they have Reggie Sanders try and bunt him along? Gloss comes in to say something to Rodriguez to make sure he knows the play, if it is a bunt play.
Well, if Sanders is bunting, it'll be a surprise. He did not have a single sacrifice bunt during the season. He has not had one in the postseason.
He is 7th in the order tonight, but he's also hitting .357 in the series. Snow, the go-ahead run at first. Rodriguez delivers to Sanders. He is bunting, and it gets by Molina. They don't have to sacrifice him because the ball goes to the backstop. Snow is at second. And oh my goodness, that pitch was right in Benji's glove. He just didn't catch it. It's a pass ball on Benji Molina.
Pitch wasn't too far away from being a strike.
No, it wasn't in the dirt. Benji just had it go off his glove. That's a critical error by the catcher. It doesn't go down as an error, it goes down as a pass ball. One ball and no strikes to Reggie Sanders with the go-ahead run now at second base. And Frankie Rodriguez staring at a very difficult situation in Game 4 of the series. If they bunt now, they'll be trying to move Snow to third. Rodriguez into his stretch. Here's the 1-0 to Sanders. He's around a bunt, and he fouls it away. Reggie Sanders without a sacrifice bunt this year, trying to get one down in this situation. The count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. And now Frankie Rodriguez, who has been so good with the strikeout pitch, he could use one right here.
Well, it's amazing how the game changes when you get to the postseason. You'll do things that you don't normally do because it seems like every pitch is so important. Every run is so big. And they've had Sanders trying to bunt on the first 2 here.
1 ball and 1 strike to Reggie Sanders. Rodriguez into his stretch. The 1-1, he's around a bunt and he takes high, ball 2. The Angels have Spezio charging, Gloss laying back at third. Frankie Rodriguez responsible for covering the left side. JT Snow doesn't exactly have lightning speed out there at second. So if Sanders bunts one right back to the mound, they could get Snow at third.
He might even try a swinging bunt for that matter.
It's 2-1. Here's the stretch and the 2-1 pitch. He's around a bunt and he pops it up. Spezio dives and makes a tremendous play. Diving into foul territory, Spezio caught it. So Sanders is unable to get the bunt down. Spezio, who has played brilliantly at first base all year long, really turned it on and dives into foul territory to rob him. Snow has to stay at second, and now there's one out.
Well, you can certainly second guess the strategy by Dusty Baker. But on the flip side, what a play by Spezio, who has a shot to be a Gold Glove winner this year. We've seen him make one Gold Glove play after another.
Here is David Bell, 1 for 3 tonight with a single. Rodriguez checks second and delivers, and the slider's inside on Bell, 1-0. Tim Morrell is standing in the on-deck circle, but he won't hit. 1 ball, no strikes to Bell. Snow at second base with 1 out. We'll see if the Angels can survive that pass ball by Benji Molina. Rodriguez steps off the mound, and now they decide, well, why even pretend? Worrell goes back to the dugout, and Ramon Martinez comes out on deck. 1 ball, no strikes to Bell. Rodriguez checks second. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball is ripped into center field. Here comes Snow around third. He is going to be safe. The Giants lead it.
Boy, and now that pass ball really comes back to haunt the Angels.
For the first time in his young career, Frankie Rodriguez is looking at a loss. And you're right, the pass ball right now is huge. If not for that, you have first and second with 1 out. Instead, there's a run in. And David Bell at first base with 1 out. And now Ramon Martinez at the plate. Rodriguez sets, looks over at first base. The pitch to Martinez is outside, ball 1. 4-3 Giants in the bottom of the 8th. And now you know Rob Nen's coming in the 9th. The Angels can only hope now that it's only a 1-run game.
With Kenny Lofton, a left-handed batter waiting on deck, left-hander Scott Schoenweis has started to warm up.
1 ball, no strikes to Martinez. David Bell, the number 8 hitter, delivering the big hit for the Giants here in the 8th inning. Martinez looks at a fastball outside, and it's 2-0. Two balls, no strikes. Timeout called. Bud Black is going to the mound to talk to Rodriguez. We will pause 10 seconds for our stations to identify themselves. This is the Anaheim Angels Baseball Network.
The Anaheim Angels on Talk Radio AM570 KLAC Los Angeles. Home of Gil Gross mornings 5 till 9 a.m.
Rory Markus and Terry Smith here at Pac Bell Park in San Francisco. Darren Chen, our producer-engineer. Frank LaForelli producing in the studio. The Giants have taken the lead here in the bottom of the 8th. The Angels haven't scored since the 3rd inning. It's 4-3 San Francisco. The Angels had a 3-0 lead in this one, but they've let it get away.
Angels offense has disappeared in this game. Only 2 hits since the 3rd inning. The last 8 Halos have been retired in order.
2 balls, no strikes to the pinch hitter Ramon Martinez. Frankie Rodriguez checks first. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Martinez looks at ball 3. He's a .271 hitter in the regular season. 4 home runs, 25 runs batted in. Rodriguez checks first and the pitch. A strike. Kenny Lofton on deck. Joining Schoenweiss in the bullpen, Scott Shields. He has not appeared in the postseason at all, but he's loosening up right now. 3 balls, 1 strike to Martinez. Frankie Rodriguez looks at Bell over at first base. Here's the 3-1 pitch. A strike on the inside corner. 3-2. The inning started with a J.T. Snow single. He went to second on a passed ball by Benji Molina, and he scored on a single by David Bell. 3-2 to Martinez. Rodriguez delivers. Bell runs. Martinez strikes out, and Bell is out at second base. So it's a double play. However, the Giants have the lead. They get 1 run on 2 hits, nobody left. We go to the 9th. Rob Nen is coming in. Giants 4, Angels 3 on the Anaheim Angels Baseball Network. Top of the 9th inning. Rob Nen, the Giants closer in the ballgame. He's had a great year, 43 saves, a 5-2 record, make it 6-2, and a 2.20 earned run average.
He's already had 6 saves in the postseason, saved 6 games out of the 8 that he's appeared in this postseason.
Scott Spezio leads off the 9th inning for the Angels, 1 for 3 tonight, 4-3 Giants in the 9th. The pitch to Spezio, grounded foul. This was the same score by which the Giants won Game 1. They're trying to even this series up tonight. They've out-hit the Angels tonight, 12-9. The Giants are 86-2 when they lead after 8 this year. Pitch to Spezio on the outside corner. Strike 2. Adam Kennedy has come out on deck to bat for Benji Gill.
Nen throws a very hard slider, a 90-plus mile-per-hour slider. He'll also throw a fastball.
0-2 to Spezio. Nen is ready. The 0-2 pitch. Popped up, left side, coming over is Bell. In foul ground, he makes the catch. So the Angel offense has gone silent. And now Adam Kennedy up there to try and give him a little lift. Kennedy batting for Gill. And Brad Fulmer is putting a helmet on down in the dugout. He'll be coming up to pinch hit after Kennedy. He'll hit for Benji Molina. Kennedy this postseason hitting .371, 4 for 13 in the series. Nen ready, he delivers. Kennedy swings and laces one into right field for a base hit. Kennedy just off the bench, swings at the first pitch and singles into right. So the Angels have the tying run aboard in the 9th inning with 1 out. And now Brad Fulmer will hit for Benji Molina.
And then after Fulmer bats, we'll see another pinch hitter because it's the pitcher's slot, the 9-hole.
Kennedy hitting that high fastball into right. Now here's Fulmer, who of course did not play tonight, with a left-hander starting in Kirk Reeder. Giants 4, Angels 3, 1 out in the 9th. Fulmer 3 for 6 in the series. Tough for a left-hander to hit it out of here, but Fulmer did hit 19 home runs in the regular season. Rob Nen checks Kennedy. The pitch to Fulmer. Fastball hit the other way. Bonds over toward the line, but it's a foul ball up into the seats. Fulmer late on the swing.
Sean Wooten has come out of the Angels dugout. He will be the next pinch hitter after Brad Fulmer.
Mike Scioscia gets Brendan Donnelly and Troy Percival up in the bullpen. Donnelly in case the Angels tie it. Percy in case the Angels go ahead. Top of the ninth inning, Giants 4, Angels 3. The Angels trying to rally against one of the best closers in the game here in the ninth. Nen looks at Kennedy at first. Here's the 0-1. Fulmer swings and misses, strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. Good breaking ball by Nen. Had Fulmer swinging over it. And the count 0-2. Fulmer backed out of there for a moment. Now he's ready once again. Nen just calmly waiting for him to get ready. Here's the check of Kennedy. And the 0-2 pitch. Check, swing, roller. It's going to be a double play, 6-3. The Giants win game 4. Fulmer tried to check his swing, but he hit it right to the shortstop, Aurelia. Tonight, the San Francisco Giants come from behind to defeat the Anaheim Angels by a 4-3 score. They draw even in the series.